at the Keta College of Nursing and Midwifery College here in Keta. So welcome. Let me hear from you. What's your name? Introduce yourself to.
My name is Kafui Agblaze. I'm the Regional Communication Officer for the NDC.
Wow. So we have Kafui Agblaze, Regional Communication Officer for the National Democratic Congress. Let's begin the conversation now, shall we? And Kafui, so tell us something about the fisheries industry, the current happenings along the fisheries coast.
Richard, I'm glad to meet you once again.
Thank you. So we go way back at the University of Cape Coast?
It's been so many years.
All right.
Happy to meet you again.
All right.
Yeah, the fishery industry is bedeviled with a lot of issues. And I'm glad the fishermen are here and all those who play critical role in the fishing sector are also here. We have an issue of Premix fuel, which is a major factor affecting the fishing or the fisher folks within Keta and the region at large. Scarcity of the Premix fuel, high cost of the Premix fuel, the activities of political middlemen, hijacking the Premix fuel, hoarding it, and reselling it to the fisher folks at exorbitant prices, is a critical issue that the fisher folks are facing. And I know when you give them the opportunity, they will say more. We have an issue of data gap within the fishery management. And currently, there is not much research work that is going on within the marine or the blue ecospace. So that is also a major problem. We have a problem of sand winning along the coastal areas, which is a major problem because it becomes difficult for some sea animals that need the coast to breed, like the sea turtle and the rest, to reproduce. So that is a problem. We have a problem of the pollution of our marine water bodies or the marine bodies, and that is a huge problem that affects the industry. So I will say that the depletion of the marine stock, when the fisher folks go to sea or they go on their fishing expedition, their inability to catch a lot of shoals is also a problem. So yes, the fishing industry has a lot of problems that bedevil our people. And we in the NDC have mapped out and put in our policies and manifestos what we will do when we come to power. So yes, I must admit that the serious problem affecting our people is the Premix fuel, the depletion of the marine, the problem of pollution, the problem of galamsey. Though galamsey is not much here in the Volta region, but the rippling effect is having a toll on them.
Okay, thank you very much. It looks as if that you've done a bit of summary of the conversation we want to have, and these are the issues that are obviously bedeviling the fisheries sector. So let's be specific here, Keta and the Volta region, for example. When we talk about IUU, what currently is happening and what does the future NDC administration intend to do to arrest that?
Let me first of all thank the fishermen and all those who play a critical role within the fishing industry because they provide the majority of the protein that we consume. So to my people here, I say Ayiko for the good work that you are doing. Yes, there are issues of illegal fishing. There are issues of unreported and unrecorded fishing within the marine space, and especially in Keta, where the laws have been relaxed. For instance, some of the artisanal fishermen have to go a certain nautical mile, but that laws have been flouted. So those are issues or critical issues that needs to be looked at. And I believe that when the laws are enforced, it will definitely inure to the benefit of the fisher folks. It will inure to the benefit of those who ply the chain within the fishing industry. So yes, that has to be looked at. The issue of sand winning also have to be looked at, and the issue of the pollution also have to be looked at. One other issue that is of a major concern has to do with the youth or teenagers also involving themselves in the fishing industry once they have to go to school. So within the Keta and the Volta environment, that is also critical for us because you see child labor playing critical role within the industry. So that is of a major concern to us.
So we see the trawling where people have talked about the industrial trawlers getting into our waters and then perpetrating illegalities and then conniving with the artisanal fishers as well in destroying our water. I mean, in terms of it, I know that you've mentioned enforcement. What kind of enforcement regime are we going to see during the NDC administration? Should you get the opportunity to govern this country again?
Yeah, let me say that even though the laws are there, but the implementation is a problem. When you look at the Gulf of Guinea basin that stretches, or Ghana inclusive, Togo inclusive, Benin inclusive, when the UN came out with the laws regarding the fishery, they all agreed that yes, it is a good law, but the implementation of those laws has become a problem. So we believe that in terms of the trawling, when we partner with the Marine Police, we partner with other agencies to make sure they are properly equipped to really patrol our water bodies and then keep data of all those trawlers. I think that will help. Another critical issue is the enforcement of the laws, because when you have certain trawlers carrying the flag of other countries but flouting our laws, that is quite problematic. So here is a situation whereby we have to crack the whip. But then it must be done in such a manner that even the Ghanaians who are partnering them, we educate them enough. Some of them, it is as a result of lack of education. So within our manifesto, we are saying that the Fisheries College at Anomabu, we are going to resource it so that the fisher folks will have constant training at Anomabu so that they can improve their skills of training. So with that of the foreigners, the enforcement of the law is critical to us. So that is what is in our manifesto, that when the NDC comes to power, those foreigners plying our water bodies with other countries in partnership, we will make sure that we enforce the law, especially those within the Gulf of Guinea, so that those international trawlers would go or would comply within our laws as a country, so that they will not flout the laws. Because you look at a lot of the depletion of the marine species. For instance, tuna is very, very scarce now to get. So here in our manifesto, we are thinking that a tuna faculty or facility be established in Anomabu in order to avert the depletion of the tuna species. So that and more is what we are going to do. But when we are thinking of such policies in order to remedy the situation, but then the enforcement of the law are not being enforced, then that becomes a useless cause. So here the enforcement of the law in partnership with other agencies and in partnership with other countries is important to us in order to prevent the trawling. You have an experience of pair trawling. Now the pair trawling is where two boats or vessels move in the same line and then drag the nets along the seabed. Definitely. Even we have marine species that are so...
pair trawling is now a thing of the past, so it is only trawling that they do currently. But they tell us from the Fisheries Commission, the scientists tell us that pair trawling, after the campaigns against pair trawling, now is a thing of the past, so we can move on.
Yeah, definitely. Here I'm quoting from the UN report and the research done by the countries within the Gulf. They say that still there are some countries that the pair trawling is being done, even though it has reduced minimal. It has been very, very minimal, but it is still something that is going on. So with the collaboration with other countries, those vessels that flout the law should be penalized. And I think that enforcement here is very, very important.
Let's talk about close season, and I have the microphone. There are many people that have suggested that the close season that we have been observing for some time now is not really giving us any benefits. I don't know whether you people agree, and I don't know what he will say, but the microphone is here. If you have anything to contribute to the close season discussion, raise your hand. We'll give you the microphone, and then you can ask a specific question or tell us experiences as far as close season is concerned. You engage directly with the sea and you go fishing. You are made to stay 1 month in the house, and while the industrial trawlers are made to stay about 3 months. What has been your observation? What are the experiences? Is it a good practice? Because we know that currently, when we observe close season, other neighboring countries are now joining us, like Cote d'Ivoire, they are all joining us to observe the close season. What has been your reaction? The NDC, I don't know what they will say, but I've heard elsewhere that when you come, the close season is not going to be observed. Is that the same position you hold?
Yeah, as a political party, definitely we are engaging with the fisher folks, with the fishermen. When you look at the close season, a lot of engagement was conducted before the close season started. So we are saying that we will still consult, we will still engage with the fisher folks in order to see how best we can all engage in the close season activity. Definitely, when you look at the fishermen, the close season is such that it is meant to allow the restocking or respawning of the marine body. So when that is having a problem, definitely engagement with the fisher folks would engender the better means that can be done. Because when they are off the fishing activity, what is the alternative economic activity that they have to engage in? So that have to be communicated to the people. Because assuming that my aunt sitting down there goes to sea, and then when she comes back, she sells her shoes, and then after 1 month, nothing is being done. How will she be able to cater for my nephews and my niece? So definitely an alternative means have to be done. So we are saying that, one, we are going to ensure that we engage in the marine ecotourism. We are going to make sure that we engage in special education, and then we are going to make sure that we engage in an alternative skill training, so that at that period that they are not going fishing, they can have an alternative economic activity that they can engage in order for them to put food at the table of their family. So
currently,
that is
what I see happening is, there are still training for the fisher folk alternative. Last week, I saw the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development distribute some sewing machine and barbering equipment, because the people have been trained and they can resort to it during the close season. We've also seen the increased stance on aquaculture development, where they're saying that the fishers would be given an opportunity, another livelihood empowerment program through the aquaculture development to do that. Your stance on close season, or you feel that the stocks in the sea are declining, and so we need to augment that through other activities?
Definitely, I think that even the fisher folks, or those that ply the fishery and industry, would agree, and according to the UN report, that the marine body or the stock of fishes within the marine space is depleting. So definitely, you will find some of them who buy a lot of Premix fuel and go to sea only to come back with nothing. So this is a dialogue that involves, or should engage, the two parties, that is those involved in the fishing space and then policy makers, so that they can find a middle ground as to how best that can be achieved, because spawning needs to be done. The fishes need to reproduce. So that is extremely important. But like we are saying, fishing alone, relying on it alone, will not really be to their benefit. So here is a situation whereby the alternatives economic activity or livelihood is very, very key. You are saying that the government is engaging in some aspects of the skills training. That is very good, but we are saying that we would upscale it because it's extremely important. We are saying that we are going to even provide special education for even the children involved in the fishing space, so that they can direct their energies to other means of livelihood, other means of education. Because here I am here with my cousin there as a fishery expert. It implies that he has upgraded himself through other forms of education. That is why he is now an expert in the marine space. So definitely that is important. We are also saying that we are going to make sure that we improve the facility of Fisheries College in Anomabu. So it implies that when those certifications and recognitions are done, a local fisherman can have certification and then engage in other means of in the blue economy, which is really going to engender not only to their personal benefit, but to the benefit of the country. So yes, alternative livelihood or skills training is very, very important, and we are going to upscale it. We are going to make sure as NDC, we provide special education for them. We as NDC we are even suggesting that within Anomabu, there will be a tuna facility in Anomabu because the tuna space is depleted. So yes, we are not only looking at the artisanal, we are not looking at the semi-industry, we are also looking at the commercial aspect of it, where will be much resource. We are also saying that we are going to partner with the academia, we are going to partner with research institutions to make sure that we acquire a research vessel, such that this research vessel will engage in a lot of researches, which will go a long way to improve our marine space, and is going to inure to the benefit of the fisher folks. So that is what we want to do. We don't want our fisher folks to go to sea, cast their net, and then arrest or harvest plastic waste. No. We want the sponging to be done, and we also make sure that in terms of the law, we set up a law and preventing people from fishing within the estuary, because those should be a secluded zone to allow the fishes to spawn, so that we can have a lot of fish stock replenishing, reproducing, so that we will not have a situation whereby we will not have protein on our table.
So if you have a question to ask on close season, get a microphone. Okay, so you get up and mention your name, and then you ask the question or you contribute, or tell us your experiences as far as the close season is concerned. Okay, so someone has a question, so we are taking questions on the experiences of the fishers on close season, and then we would ask our discussant here to do that. Okay, all right. So ask your question.
Yes, my question is going to be my own contribution and then a little bit of question.
Okay.
It's on this close season, the issue of close season. Close season is very important. If you're educated, you know that.
Okay, so let me change your microphone for you. So, yes.
Yeah, close season is very important.
So stand at where you are. Okay, good. Thank you.
Close season is very important. It's still the same.
Go on.
Close season is very, very important to any fishing, especially those of us fishing in the ocean. And without the close season, fish stock will continue to decline. This one we know. But there are other issues that affect fish stock,
Okay.
which governments are not tackling. And that is fish spawning in waters, fish spawning in waters outside the ocean, like the rivers and then the lagoons. Some fishes spawn in rivers, some in lagoons or creeks that abut the ocean. When you go to Anyangwi and Adan, the place has silted. Sometimes it will close altogether, preventing fish from going inside and spawning. But instead of government, VRA, which is responsible for the estuary, silting or desilting the place, they don't do it. That is the cause of the flooding that we had, the devastating flood that we had recently. If that place is dredged and the water is deep, the volume of water that will pass per minute will increase, and therefore flooding will not happen, and then fish too will have access to their spawning areas. That thing must be tackled. In the past, there used to be a permanent dredger there, or dredgers there, always desilting or dredging the place. But now they are no more there. Now, that is one thing. Then number two, aside of fishermen packing their nets and mending their nets during the close season, government actually is not supporting us in any way except that they come in and tell us not to fish. That's all that they do.
But they've not been distributing relief items?
The relief items they distribute. My boat, we get two 5 kilograms
of rice.
And then this oil, about 2 or 3 liters of oil, which is about 3 bottles. That's what they get. How can somebody feed on that for a whole month?
But is it not the expectation that you also contribute your quota to the rebuilding of the fisheries resources?
Fish stock is so low now that what you catch in a day is what you live on. So if you deprive fishermen from going to sea for 1 month, you are telling them to go and die.
How do we then do it now? Because in one breath, you say that the close season is a very good thing. In another breath, you say that, well, if they don't go fishing, they may eventually die.
Yeah, just allow me to finish. You get my point. Now, when you close the season, it must be done. But government must support. The support must be more than what they are doing now.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
When you go to Côte d'Ivoire, when you go to Togo and Benin, especially Benin and Côte d'Ivoire, they support their fishermen more than Ghana does. Ghana, we don't support fisher folks in anything. The only thing is that when it's, like I said, close season, they come around with some few bags of rice to distribute to the people. That is not enough. They support. You can support a month. Just calculate how much a person can feed on. A man with a family of, let's say, 4, 5, 6. How much food would they consume? And you give them the money in cash. Let them support themselves until the close season is over. Because that is the only thing the government can do. Other areas, other countries, governments are doing more. Even Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, and they are doing more for their fisher folks than they do to us in Ghana here. This is one thing I want to champion as politicians to do more than they are doing. Because, look, they support is given to cocoa farmers. Support is given to other farmers. But fisher folks, they don't give us any support. This year, for example, 45 horsepower. Is it 40 horsepower? 40 horsepower.
40 horsepower.
Yes, and then 50 horsepower. The 50 horsepower is, the 40 horsepower is 30,000. That is how much they are giving to fisher folk. 30,000. Meanwhile, when you go to Japan Motors, it's 40,000. Look at how much government is.
So the difference is not that much?
It's not that much.
They are not subsidizing it that much?
No, not at all. In Côte d'Ivoire, they give you even for free. In Togo, they give you for free. They even give them nets for free in Togo here. But here in Ghana, no, we don't get such support. And they are asking us to cooperate. Look, apart from that, we have the issue of the fish stock decline. Government has to do more. I hear my friends say that they are going to get a research vessel that will do research. Very important, very good. I give them thumbs up if they will do that. Aside of, I have something on my phone. If you allow me, I can read it.
Okay, so we'll take them bit by bit and subject by subject. So we are on the subject of close season. I see someone from the Fisheries Commission eager to contribute or ask a question. So hold your horses. Let's go to the Fisheries Commission person to add or maybe say something about the discussion that has happened. And so we'll come back to you. Thank you very much. So you mention your name and then you...
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name...
Okay. Okay. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Once again, my name is Honorable Johnson Agbeko, Suze from Adina, a fisherman and a net owner. And I want to come in with a correction before I ask my question, my honorable man, a question.
On the close season?
Yes, on the close season. What my dad said earlier on, that when you go to the neighbor countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and Togo, fishermen are support. But what I want him to know is the neighbor countries' fishermen, the reason why they support them, they pay taxes. We Ghanaian fishermen, we don't pay tax. We all know that we don't pay tax. On basis on their tax that they pay, the government support them freely. We Ghanaian fishermen, we don't pay tax. We all know. My question to my honorable man, my great dad over there, is on the close season, when we give them the nod, when they come in, are they going to stop the close season or they are going to continue the close season for us? That is the question on the close season that I want to ask my honorable.
So that is a direct question to you. Are you going to go ahead or continue with the close season that is currently in place, or you are going to stop it?
Yeah, before I respond to that, let me just briefly talk about what my dad had said. Yes, spawning cannot only be done in the sea, like he actually said, it can be done in other water bodies. So we have identified Jochi in Ketu North. There are 2 dams over there where research work has been carried out by the NDC, and we realized that spawning can be done over there. We've also realized that the estuary is very, very important and critical, and we are going to implement laws to prevent people from fishing within the estuary area, because spawning needs to be done in those areas. That applies to the mangrove areas also. Those that are already in existence, we are going to protect it, and those that has been depleted, we are going to make sure that we recover them. With the issue of the VRA, yes, when the VRA was there under our government, we made sure that there are dredgers that are constantly dredging, desilting the water bodies. But their inability to do the dredging is what has contributed to the recent flooding. And Richard, I can tell you on authority that dredger has been sold by the MPP government.
Which one?
The dredger by the VRA has been sold by the MPP government.
I mean, what evidence do you have that it has been sold?
Do you see? If the dredger were to be there, the constant and the frequent dredging that they have been doing or undertaking, that should have been taking place. But there's no evidence of that. Even as at now that we are here talking, the dredging hasn't been done.
The fact that there is no evidence of dredging taking place doesn't mean that that dredger has been sold.
The NDC is telling you on authority that the dredger has been sold.
And that authority ought to be backed by evidence.
Definitely. If the VRA, what I'm saying is the untruth, definitely they will come out to respond. The dredger has been sold. I'm saying it on authority. Now we are saying that when we come to power, we are going to make sure that we dredge the major river body, that's the Volta Lake, and we are also committed to dredging the Kita Lagoon. The people of Keta should have an assurance and should have that confidence that the next NDC government is going to dredge. When you are clapping, clap better.
Okay, go ahead.
The next NDC government is committed to dredging the Keta Lagoon and other river bodies that are silted. And that is a commitment within our manifesto. And I must also lay emphasis that apart from that dredging, it is in our manifesto at the section of the marine transport that we are going to build the Keta Harbour. So that should be made clear. I want to emphasize that the NDC is committed to building the Keta Harbour because we have in our manifesto building the ecotourism space within the marine environment. Now, with what the question that my brother had asked, I said earlier, and I've said it repeatedly, yes, the close season is very, very important. We in the NDC under former Minister Sherry Aite, may her soul rest in peace, she worked extensively on the close season in collaboration with other countries. That is why you will see Burkina Faso and other countries also coming on board. But we have realized that the fisher folk have certain concerns. And those concerns also needs to be addressed. So we are saying that further engagement with the fishing community and all those in the fishing value chain should be engaged. And we are also proposing an alternative livelihood. We are proposing special education and skills training. So yes, for now, both governments, we've all come out to say that yes, the close season is very, very good, which the fisher folks also agree that what is very good in order for spawning to be done. But so long as the people that the law affects are raising concern, definitely their concerns need to be factored into the policy. So we are saying that engagement will be done in order to come out with a law that will be pari passu with the people and with the policies of the government.
Are there questions on close season? Yes. So let's. Okay, madam. So I'll come to you for the rebuttal. Let madam continue to ask the question.
My name is Ruby Adupo. Please, I just want to ask that we those who are here, it's not all of us understand the English.
Okay.
Can somebody here to interpret the language to other people to understand?
Okay.
And my second appeal is that you said that we should share our experience in close season. But I can see that, are we sharing the experience with both the question altogether?
Yes, so you can. If you have an experience, during the close season, and you have a question, you can do both.
Okay. In close season, as a fish processor, they call us that there is something called close season. So we went and they share some ideas with us. Excuse, my truth is very...
Oh, don't worry. You go ahead. We'll bear with you.
So, along the line, what we went and learned about the close season, we are not seeing it. And the problem I have about this close season is that the fishermen, they are going to shore. They know how things go there. They know the weather, whatever, they know it. They understand it. But in my experience as one person, I can see that the Fisheries Commission, they are not ready to listen to those who are fishing. Because you can see that they will pick some people from University of Cape Coast, University of Legon.
The scientists?
Or the scientists, and they will say that they are the scientists, they are the researchers. But the poor fisherman who is not in office, who is not holding any position, he knows the weather about the sea. How the month or the day who is good, what is good for the close season, the poor fisherman knows it. But you see that the researchers will give their dates to the poor fisherman that this is what we insist to you people to do, which is very bad. To me, one person, that is my challenge in this close season. And we saw it that along the line is like something they came and put on us that we should do it. Firstly, we saw that, these our men, they will relax and patch their nets, do some patches about their canoes, and we are happy about it. But if you look around the whole thing, you see that there is something behind which is not exposed to the fishermen. It's
so what they are trying to say is that what is behind is for the restocking of the fishes in the sea because it's on the decline, so that there will be breeding taking place. And that is why that is the import of the close season.
We understand it that way, but before you realize, the trawlers will come to their distance where they should not supposed to fish.
So it's a matter of enforcement,
yes,
right?
They will come there. So,
because we know that the trawlers were also given 3 months.
But before you realize, they will come to artisanals area to come and fish there, which is very bad. And the law is there, the policy is there, they are not implementing it. So the whole thing, you will not understand. So this one here, I want to ask the NDC people, the NDC party, I want to ask them, if they come.
Ask them.
I'm asking them. My communicator is here, I'm asking them. If you people came, what are you coming to do for the artisans to have their breed? Because, Mr. Richard, our fishermen, they are suffering. Look at it, the album motto, 2023, they got it, I think, 180. If I'm lying, 180. 2024, 30,000 Ghana cedis. Where that poor fisherman, where is he going to get that money from? And see the sea. There is nothing going on. You understand? Where are they going to get that huge amount to buy that abomoto? So before you realize, The party people will share it among themselves, and the poor fishermen will be there. They will go there. They will come and take picture with them, including with the fish processors. And when they will go and bring the abo moto and give 3 to a landing beach.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's a fish processor there asking this pertinent question. So there is this woman. So ask, we'll come back.
Yeah, I'm Rita Dovlo, fish processor. They boast themselves that they are sharing rice and oil to us. When they bring the rice,
That is during the close season.
yes, when they bring the rice, they take them back to Accra. We don't understand that. What they mention their name on is that they are bringing it to the
So
fish
the
processors.
rice, so they bring the rice
Yes,
and they take
it
them back
at
to
the
Accra.
night. They
But at
will
least,
pack them in their cars and take it away. So we, the women, will be fighting each other with 3 pieces of rice, insulting each other. They are just destroying our groups, disturbing us.
Okay.
Because through the Premix too, that made the fishermen, the cost of the fish we bought from them is high. We can't sell it at the market.
okay.
So
All
they
right.
are sharing the Premix among the party members. If you go to the Premix container, you see MPP members there. Where the NAFTA people should work, the tailor will be there for NAFTA. Why we don't know the person that is NAFTA member? Things are worrying us a lot.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We will come back to you to follow up on the questions, but let me get back to you. And then let's box in with marine protected areas, just as we are talking about the close season where the fish was spawned. And how do we protect these areas and how do we deal with the questions that they have asked and the contributions that they have asked? So first, let's go to the questions and then let's look at what the NDC would do in protecting these areas that would be responsible for spawning of the fish.
Yeah, definitely it is extremely pathetic that government officials would drive all the way from Accra, come to the fish processors, come to the chief fishermen and those in the fishing communities, take pictures with them, the rice and other relief items that they have for them, then they drive it back to Accra.
It's a claim she has made.
And
they have evidence. Oh, you have evidence? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So go ahead.
Richard, you've come to a region that is known for one thing. My people are people that always speak the truth. My people are very, very honest. And my people are God-fearing.
Okay.
And what doesn't exist, they don't say it.
Okay, all right. So you go ahead and answer
So when they say that is what happened, every Votarian, every Anglo-man knows what the woman said is the truth.
Is the truth. Okay. So what you want us to know is that they bring the rice, the oil, and then take pictures with them, and then drive off with the package.
Give them something extremely insignificant. Extremely insignificant. My people are not chickens. They are not fowls. These are human beings.
Okay.
The NDC did a lot of subsidy on the outboard motors during our tenure. The NDC did a lot of intervention to the fisher folks. We are saying that we will go back to the good old days where the outboard motors will be subsidized. We are saying that a situation where the NPP executives serve as middlemen, where both load sellers, where bakers, where teachers who has nothing to do with fishery are the ones holding the Premix fuel. We will make sure under the operation recover all loot, those people will be penalized. And I must say with emphasis that Geoffrey Oklu, who has diverted an aide to the MCE for Keta, Honorable Gemaga, who has diverted a tanker of Premix fuel meant for Nukbasekofe, which was arrested in Anakachi, will be prosecuted. We will not tolerate any illegality. We are not going to tolerate any illegality. We will make sure that the Premix fuel that is meant for the fisher folks are given to the fishermen. We will make sure that whatever is due them, they get it. See, here is a situation whereby a yellow gallon of Premix fuel which is meant to be sold for 180 Ghana cedis, at some places is sold for 360 Ghana cedis. Is it not true? Is it not true? Manyata Pea, Mishi Akbarata. It implies that just on a gallon, 1 gallon of Kufo gallon, the yellow gallon, they are making a profit of 130 Ghana cedis on one. That is how they are depriving the fisher folks of their profits. And that is how they are contributing to fish being expensive and people find it difficult to afford. Yes.
Okay.
And even the drum, they are selling it instead of it to be sold for.
We have a specific item on premix fuel, which we will deal with subsequently. So let's deal with the closed season and the marine protected areas, and then we'll come to the premix fuel.
So we are saying that under the marine protected areas, within the long term of the NDC, it is our long-term plan that the inland pollution of our water bodies, where domestic waste and other waste from the drains is diverted towards the marine bodies, we will do a re-engineering. And this is a long-term plan of the NDC so that that will stop. We are also saying that we are going to implement policies to make sure the pollution of the water bodies with plastics is curtailed. But then these will be done in collaboration with other agencies, inclusive of the local government ministry. We are also saying that the enforcement of the law is very, very important and key in order to make sure we protect our marine bodies. But that can also be achieved if we equip the authorities or agencies that are responsible for that. We are also saying that under the next NDC government, we are going to establish a Blue Economy Commission, because the Blue Economy Commission will encapsulate all activities within the blue space.
So the Fisheries Commission will no longer be there, or it will be there, just that you establish a commission that will tower above the Fisheries
Definitely,
Commission.
because the blue economy space is extremely huge. It doesn't only include that of fishery. So yes, we are going to include all other agencies that thrive within the marine space under the supervision of that Blue Economy Commission. And that is key, because Ghana needs to play a major role, and we have to be Goliath in that space. We have to be Goliath in that space, and not just dwarfs. So it is extremely important that we as a country, we begin taking giant steps in that direction, because it is extremely important. Now, mining is also done within the sea. So definitely that regulation needs to be done in order to protect our water bodies and prevent pollution from being done. You recall the disaster in Atlanta, where as a result of improper mining of crude oil, the whole water body was polluted. So here, enforcement and implementation of the law is very, very key to us. And the next NDC government will make sure our laws are heavily enforced in order to avert any marine disaster that should befall our country.
So let's follow up with, the pollution of our sea. You see that the fishers go fishing, and then a lot of them catch plastics. They go, and then instead of catching fish, they come home with plastic, and they don't even get fish. What is going to happen? Or it's under the marine, the Blue Economy Commission or committee that the NDC intends to bring?
Yeah, that's unfortunately for us. I must thank our people. When you go along our coast, between Anyami all the way to Aplau, we have one of the cleanest beaches or the cleanest coast in the country. And thanks to my people for making sure that our coasts are not polluted. So thank you very much for engaging.
Indeed, ever since I came to Keta, I've been walking the beaches, and I see that the beaches are very clean.
Yes, our beaches are very, very clean. And no doubt the Volta region is described as the oxygen region of Ghana. So that is part of our cleanliness, and it's to our credit. And I must tell you that within the NDC manifesto, we have health tourism, which implies that yes, when you are not feeling well, Volta region is the place for you to come. Yes, with the marine protection, the plastic waste, like I said, definitely that will fall under the local government agency. And it's just a matter of regulations. It's just a matter of the implementation and enforcement of bylaws within the assemblies. So here, enforcement is key, enforcement is important. Now, within the blue economy space, the pollution as a result of mining and other activities, definitely it is going to fall under the blue economy. This is a sector that is very, very huge, and we all have to pay attention to. We have a situation where you talk about the trawling. Definitely, regulations need to be done. Where we have foreign vessels, like the close season, that those trawlers need to observe for 2 months, not 3 months like you said, it's 2 months. Fishery commissions, it's 2 months, am I right? 2, thank you. So 2 months, definitely. So we have to make sure that the nautical mile that they have to be is respected. And all those comes under regulation. When the marine police and all the commission, the fishery commissions and all those people here, when they are not well equipped, they are not well empowered, definitely they will not be able to implement the laws, even though the laws are there. So the NDC is committed to make sure that we are resourcing the little agencies that we have to make sure that what they enforce their laws.
Okay, so let's come back to, I would allow room for questions. Okay, so get him the microphone so that we can, after the questions, we go to Premix, the issue of Premix fuel, and then we can have a conversation about it. Get the mic to the gentleman seated there. So, yes. So ask your question.
Okay.
Mention your name and then tell us where you're coming from.
Okay. My name is Honorable Eben Asa, Assembly Member from Agavaji Electoral Area, Ketusat. Let me seize this opportunity to thank my senior comrade. This program is a regional political party dialogues on fisheries, but it's unfortunate for me to see the parties here. I couldn't see them, only in the NDC that represent here. So it's a fantastic program. Before I proceed, I want to congratulate my senior brother once again. So I want to ask a question about close season. So my question goes to my senior comrade. The close season, we know as a fisherman that this current government have failed us. So all the promises that they made to we the fishermen during the close season, they have failed us terribly. So when your party come to power, what are you going to do to give enough relief items to the fisher force?
So that is to say they are going to maintain the close season.
Yes, yes, because it's a good program. By this current government, the way they should initiate it to the benefit of the fisher folks, all the fishermen, they fail us. So I want to ask my senior comrade, when they come to power, NDC come to power December 7, what are they going to do to improve or to empower this close season so that it will benefit with the fisher folks? That is the first question.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much. So let's go to another question. We'll give another opportunity to you. Mention your name and tell us where you're coming from.
Thank you. My name is Victor Jokoto. Currently, I'm the Regional Secretary for Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council.
Okay.
My question goes to the honorable man over there for representing the NDC. There is a bill currently at Parliament on MPA, Marine Protected Area.
Okay.
When he comes, or when they come as a party, what would they do? Currently, the bill is targeting Western region, not Central region, not Greater Accra, not Volta. What would they do differently in that regard so that Volta region will benefit from the MPA? That's one. Two, he is talking about enforcement. I want to know from them, the NDC, what will be their budget allocation on enforcement within the close season period. 3, within the close season, there is a pole and line vessel that operates let's say they do their close season from mid January to mid February, spanning, let's say, 3 months. That's for pole and line. Within our close season, when we are doing, artisanals are doing the close season, these pole and line boats came into our area, fish within the IEZ for bait. That same bait that we are reserving for them to spawn for us to catch. What would they do differently in that regard? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, mention your name and tell us where you are coming from.
My name is Rita Eshinukwaji. I'm coming from Qatar. I'm a fish processor in Kavgog. I would like to speak my language,
Okay.
so that my people can hear. Close season anyo kaka kpaigo ma ufuoma mila enye ba dodogo bi malanchiu dodogo bi malanchiu alaba ayo da sana na ma I have faith na me nyongu yo kana yim ha premier view alaba na mcho itoji udana yo kona via fi me kpomia pa ba shagba bolo aduna ta ayo na mako ndudu ma vala pa mo awe ba de view na dogon ko de shara tangocho enye ba anu vola na chima no da agbara mo to mo nya okofo agbabu aham vovovovi ta na nya ba miato ndc to vale wo glomidi close season na no ba yo we na nya aje ba obuga to ana no ma no nyang de ka ala ba ama yo kanya buga to nya fishing trawler so wonu blam la nyam because anlaji apo chona adidi na fifia wo ba mi no pama mo ga itoji wo over ro plum choji abo adidi da nyigba kaka ka wo busako anara kamali wodro ta na na panu ma afu amami ta alaba no de sako alaba dina buga ton ha afo vole nya ba acha adrodo ya garulama kaka fifia atoro buto nya fishing button trawlers over bon la rang plus so kata la gbagbaba la maton di diva artisanal buto bu vito na garo tana na panu ma afu o mami ba afape vala dom afi jiduro cho close season avia nanya ba nesga metava ahuaka yo la cheji anya fishing button trawlers so usubokpa achamo la cheji na mo la didi na miekpona kaka upa gbososo alama ba nla ukata uvovom chiama na kpo pala drapua na kpe di vovon no mina artisanal boto obubla aton ko mama wodan lo nya la gbogbo aviona dunu la pamo mi amia da che ovivi na mi kaka odra kap to ya lo mula na ba na vovom chiama o ga chu sadana mi ba mi asromo ga itoji o avodo wo ma ga kpedo wo ma ta no busa o nye bo wo la chajita nana kam bu to tora kama baba mu ta mo jiba ma bi mi ato bo ne nyebu fade no ko wo cho button trawlers munchi jika na gboje mi artisanal boat ha ni chora kanya 1 week fishing trawler da acho adan lo fika tama atidiva awi form ava pluro la fima lo no vio poro kata ya wodo daria wo lo ro mo kata onyefa umukpo wo upuva fudram na yo fi mala gbagba ta mo jiba ma bia ba no vade no ko wo cho button trawlers mo nche la ba o ho la mafu o mami manya bo ba mi to jimda kako ta nya bia nya ba no va nko wo chunchi na mi bla mi apa mi nyaw ba agba na bobo na mi yo ha mi no agba
Akpe kaka. So let him do the translation before we come. Okay.
So basically what she was asking was that there's no alternative livelihood or there's no specific plan for the implementation of the close season where they would be provided alternate livelihood because most of them who are fisher folks survive on fishing. And then during this period or during the close season, they are unable to go to fishing and then hence unable to feed their families. And then their children go hungry. When this happens, it is leading to increase in stealing. She mentioned that when you come back from the market, you leave your goods at the roadside. By the time you realize somebody has picked it because there is close season, and then they are unable to go to fishing and then raise money to feed their families. And then she also mentioned that the pair trawlers or the trawlers should be involved in the close season, whereas the canoes and then the other boats are asked not to go to fishing during the period, the trawlers should also be asked not to go to fishing, so that at the end of the close season, when they all go, they will be able to get enough catch and then sell for to survive their families. Because during the close season, the canoes do not go to fishing, but then the trawlers go, and then they, at the end of the day, harvest everything in the sea. So when the season closes, or the close season ends, and then they go to the sea, they are unable to get anything. She's asking the NDC what they will do to provide an alternate livelihood during the close season period.
All right, thank you very much. So note it down. So yes, someone has the mic here.
And then to add to it, to also involve the trawlers, so that the close season would cover both the canoes, boats, and then the trawlers as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
My name is Francis Kofi Bajo, regional organizer for Kapguak.
Okay.
Permit me to use my traditional language.
Okay.
Close season. Anyadaka ja namia to nyatapa. Close season anya nyama like you. That's usu the ka varota. Mama daga. One na close season nyangwi. Ye illegal activities yoka mionto mino all a twaji and na tobakuku. Yo close season. After close season, illegal activities ogaji in the. What is the benefit of the close season? If you have taruching na kamala close season namu, no nyaba wo close season. Ye illegal activities more maji more. If you have allow ga chiama noga, mieda daga. Kaka after the close season na, miega start illegal activities so. For example, at the size net and etc. Miaji in nama. If you have benefit at the kamala close season, that majiba ma bieba. Never oduji mi chunyaba shiani yo duji yo vade illegal activities or totoga light fishing on all those things. Light fishing na true afia from Ada to Azim. Light fishing komolo omaga shina omaga ina ndoku tutoju. What would a said all of Noah? But they all no on la fima alaba enla atrona Ada, Papa, Animabo, Edina, Atfi, Season, Yabado Namiabo. No lighting fishing at home, Afima, Ye Mamia Miabo, Alama Miabo Rumu. Ye Vota region, Obonoga or lighting fishing or the Ya, Ye Quenya a Toshipa. One, Obana Figua, a Moiga, na Fidadia, a Moiga, na Fidadida, Kotokumba, Putuplo, a Gonfidaro, Banoli. So all illegal activities so are all about the share the nakma at fin the closes nanata or domia miakwe. Nyamanyana agamoda ganamu, cho a kakukula putanchi, Majio Makoya demalina de Bonama. Nami coffee anado danu, choka drum kaka abedura flower. Cho Puchiang 150 years. Chapu Huekatan. Nuka majiba maglo na mido agoko adina agoko fifi lafia yofuyo le jetagba o kadan la fima e ka kokko ba winyana o do jiram na mo problem chapude awona docho anye he ba koyi na reje he chapu lo na kecho anye he ava koyi reje he ta akama demula na ba miya ba fima o gadagbam ma jiji gode mi ga gbona bloga jirudu ya na ba see the first nami jirudu why bible amamo la fima adoma ho no vade nka o le cho e kama de mo le cho fi manchi o to tagalo alonga mo kwa ho gala oshi plus suba no mo kwa ho kwa adoma no na no ji ba mi o nya ba jona ba gban apa.
All right, apa kaka. So do the translation, Fred.
So his question was based on the fact that the close season can only be effective if the government or stakeholders ensure that other illegal activities on the sea or in the marine waters stop. He mentioned that in Adam, for instance, they still engage in live fishing, where they only go to fishing in the evening, right? Where down to the western region, they only go to fishing in the eastern. Meanwhile, the fishes migrate from that section down to Adina to their part. So when they do that, they are unable to get fish, or they are unable to get fish when they go to sea. That is people in the Keta and then the Angologa area. He also mentioned that to ensure that this close season becomes effective, the government should ensure other illegal activities on the sea. They put a stop to it. And then he also mentioned, what is the other thing you mentioned about?
Sand winning.
Sand winning. That is also another thing ongoing along the coast here in the Volta region. He mentioned at some sections of the Kata area where some foreign companies are engaging in sand winning, and then they sell to Ketu South, the Aplau area. They are engaging in sand winning, and then they sell to other companies. He mentioned that if something can be done about this to curb this practice, it would be very good.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Let me get to you to provide some answers to the questions and the concerns that they have raised.
Yeah. Thank you very much, my elder sister. She's actually my sister.
Oh, I see.
She has been in the fishing space for quite a long time, from my infancy till now.
It's become a family affair now.
Yes, from the issue of the trolleys coming down to the space where the artisanal people have to fish. That is illegal. And here, enforcement is critical. So here, we are going to make sure as a political party, like I said earlier in our manifesto, that we are going to make sure that we equip all agencies that are to make sure that the laws are enforced, that they enforce their laws. But then, if she is saying that the close season also needs to be applied to them, they also observe close season, which implies that the enforcement along the coast with the artisanal fishermen are very effective. But those doing the industrial and then the semi-industrial fishing, the enforcement is not that serious or effective. So here, the Marine Police and other agencies, that the Fishery Commission that are in that space, we have to make sure that we enforce the law to make sure it applies to them. That is critical. But the reason why we think that, or I think that they are also coming down here to fish within areas that they are not to, is as a result of the depletion of the bait grounds. So here, as a political party, we are committed to making sure that we conduct a lot of research to develop bait grounds in order for them to stay within their space so that they will not come down the coast or near the coast to come and fish. So bait grounds are very, very important. The line and the pole and line, I must say that has been depleted at a fast rate. So the government intervention in that particular space is very, very important. You talk about the tuna, that has also been depleted. So the bait grounds must be developed and government intervention is critical. That is why we are saying that we are not only going to equip the Fishery Commission in Anomabu, but we are also making sure that we develop a tuna facility in Anomabu because bait grounds are very, very important. Otherwise, the artisanal fishers, they will have nothing to go home with. So here, regulation is very, very important, and we are also going to make sure that those in the semi-industry and industrial fishing sector, we enforce the laws. That is very, very important. If it is 2 months of closed season for them, definitely it has to be 2 months and it has to be enforced. We also have reports that some of the artisanal fishing people also go beyond the nautical mile that they are supposed to go. So it is both ways. We will enforce the law to make sure that they also do not come down here to fish in a space that they are to. And the artisanal fishers too are also not to go beyond the nautical miles that they are also to fish. With the alternative livelihood, like I said earlier on, we are committed to make sure that the alternative livelihood to the fisher folks is extremely important, and we are going to make sure they get it and get it as people with dignity. We are not going to throw anything at them because that is a relief to them. In relief management, we call something condiment. You have to look at what the person will eat in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And this is for a month. So you have to make sure you provide them items that can keep them to that period. Definitely, if they are sitting home, what would they feed on for the week? What are they going to feed on for a month? So that is very, very important. So he is talking about budget. He is talking about whether we are going to provide enough relief items to them. The NDC is committed to providing them enough relief items. It is under us that NADMO provides a lot of relief items to flood victims. It is under us that the NDC provide a lot of relief items under Portofait to victims of disaster. So yes, when it comes to that, we are extremely committed because we are a socialist party and we believe that it is the people that are the human resource base of our country and they need to be treated with dignity and with respect. So we are committed to that. Now the marine protected areas, like I said, we have estuaries in the Volta region. We have mangroves in the Volta region. So yes, the issue of the marine protected areas is extremely important, and it's also going to encourage spawning. It is going to encourage breeding. So definitely, yes, we will look at the bill in order for it to make sure that it expands its tentacle to cover other areas. With the issue of the illegal fishing that you have spoke about, yes, light fishing or illegal fishing is extremely inimical to the fishing industry, and definitely it also boils down to regulations and then enforcement of our laws. As I have said repeatedly over and over again, we are going to make sure we enforce the laws. Those doing the live fishing, definitely it is extremely bad because they even catch fingerlings, small fishes, which are to spawn, they are to breed and then become the bigger shoals that you are to catch. So definitely that is important for us to look at. With the issue of the sand winning, I think that is the last question. With the issue of the sand winning, as far as I know, is illegal along our beaches, is illegal along our coast. So definitely, it is because some people has passed back door. That is why they are finding it difficult to enforce the law. We are saying that, no, we are going to enforce the law. And the law needs to be enforced in the Volta region in particular, because we are suffering from two devastating effects of nature. One from the tidal waves, and then one from inland. So definitely, we have to make sure that our laws are enforced. Not only enforcing the laws to prevent flooding or to prevent tidal waves, but preventing sand winning along the coast would also allow the marine bodies to replenish. Here I talk about sea turtle. And it is extremely important that we protect the coast for the sea turtle to breed, for spawning to be done. So we are not only going to say that we are going to protect the coast, but then like I said earlier on, we will protect the coast and then we make sure that we have the coastal ecotourism also being developed so that there will be alternative livelihood for the people, there will be skills development for the people. Now, when you go to Nigeria, specifically Ojo, you see that they are not doing sand winning along their beaches, but they are rather dredging the river in order to get sand. Those who have been to Nigeria and to the river states, they will identify with what I'm saying. They rather win the sand from the riverbed. Definitely, it is because of that commitment. That is why we are saying that the silting of the Keta Lagoon, we are going to make sure that we dredge the Keta Lagoon, and that is going to provide a lot of revenue to the Keta municipality, to Anglogan district, and to Ketu South, because they are no longer going to mine sand or win sand along the coast, but the one from the lagoon, that is what they are going to use. When you go to Bato, I met the fishermen at Bato 2 days ago and that of Mepe. They are winning or mining the sand from the riverbed. So definitely, we as a municipality and other parts of the region have to look at what good things they are doing and then to make sure that we also implement it. So yes, we are going to dredge the Keta Lagoon like we have said, and the sand winning will stop because there will be enough available sand for the people to use for their development.
You are watching the JoyNews Political Parties Dialogue on Fisheries. We are coming to you from the College of Nursing and Midwifery in Keta in the Volta region, and we have the fishers, the fish processors, They are all here represented. We invited the New Patriotic Party to take part in this dialogue, but unfortunately they are not here. And so we have the NDC being represented. And so it's a dialogue that we having to promote our fisheries resources, to protect our fisheries resources, to ensure that the people, the many people that depend on these fisheries resources would not be left empty-handed. And so that is why we are having this conversation. And we are having this conversation with the political parties because we want the political parties to tell us their plans, their vision, their strategies for the fisher folk. Because usually they go around campaigning, we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you, and all of that. But now we want to commit them to actually telling the people that should we come, this is what we are going to do for you. Let's tackle the issue of premix fuel. It's been an age-old problem as far as the fisheries industry is concerned. Yeah. Okay. 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 So say what you said again. Say what you said again.
I'm specifically emphasizing on enforcement within or during the close season. That when NDC comes to power, what will be their budget allocation for enforcing the regulation and the act of the Fisheries Act, and the regulation? For instance, within this current government, the budget for relief item is higher than that of enforcement. So I'm asking him, as a political party, when he comes to power, what will be his commitment to enforcement of all the illegalities that we are talking about? Thank you.
Will he be in a position to know the actual budgets that they will have? Because this may be a tall order. Okay, so your commitment to enforcement.
Definitely. When you look at the people that are affected within the close season, and then the people that needs to enforce the laws, definitely there should be some budget allocations for them. But then, in doing that, here data is key. In the reason that you have to know the total number of fish processors, the total number of canoe owners, the total number of net owners. That is why earlier in my opening remark, I talked about lack of data. So definitely all these are important in order to streamline the budgeting. Now, when that is done, like I said earlier on, we are committed to making sure that we provide enough relief to the people because they need to live a dignified life. They need to live in respect. And we, as a political party forming the next government, I can assure you that the relief items will be given to you in dignity and will be given to you enough to last you for the month. But when the close season is done and people are observing the close season, there should be agencies that should implement or enforce the laws. We talk about the Fishery Commission playing a critical role. We are going to talk about the Marine Police playing a critical role. We are going to talk about other security agencies or bodies also playing a critical role. Definitely, when we are committed to enforcing the law to the latter, it implies that all the resources that they need to engender the effectiveness of implementation of those laws are given. We are saying as a political party that we are extremely committed to making sure that we resource and equip all those agencies enough so that they can implement their laws.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. You are still watching the JoyNews Regional Political Parties Dialogue on Fisheries. I'll come back to you. I know that you have a lot of questions to ask, but let's move on. We will still come back and answer your questions. A small rebuttal. Please get him the microphone for me. Just do it quickly and then we move on.
Yeah, I am Reverend Okbo. I represent CAVGOG.
Okay.
I said that government doesn't support us in any way. And Benin, Togo and Cote d'Ivoire, they do more for their fishermen. And somebody came to say that because we don't pay tax, those places they pay tax. I want to say that that is not the truth. What he said is not the truth. The truth is that their license, their boats are licensed. So when you're going to take your license, you pay a fee. That is what is done there. And that has also, government is implementing the same thing here in this country, licensing for the boats. So that is, they don't pay tax. I mean, that is a fact, they don't pay tax. They pay license fees. And that is what Ghana has not been doing. Now they are bringing it. They came to us and they are, dialoguing with us to get how much we can pay. So that is a fact. It's not taxes.
Okay,
Right.
all right. Thank you very much for that. So let's move on to the issue of premix fuel. It's become an albatross on the neck of the fishermen and fish processors as well. They spend gallons of premix fuel. They go see, they don't get anything, and they don't even, in some cases, they don't even get them at all. I know that it was like that during the NDC era, and it's like this during the NPP era. So during the NDC era, there was nothing like premix fuel. Okay, so it was there, but okay, all right. So there was no hoarding during the NDC era. Okay, but so the hoarding is only happening now. How do we reverse the situation? Okay, all right. So how do we resolve that?
Yeah, Richard. Premix fuel plays a critical role in the fishery industry. I recall going to school in Amazing Love, where the Azizanji or the flooding situation has devastated the area. And you have to use an outboard motor to cross all over to Azizanji in order then to connect to Denu and Aplau. I recall those days in the 90s. So apart from premix fuel, used as a means of fishing, it's also used as a means of transportation. When you go to Bato, they use the premix fuel to connect to the islands. When you go to Germany and Kpando Toko, they use the premix fuel as a means of transporting people. So premix fuel is very, very critical to the people of the Volta region. And it is at the core of transportation, it is at the core of fishing for our people. But they are facing a lot of challenges. During the NDC time, premix fuel was available, and the chief fishermen were the ones in charge. The laws regarding the landed beaches were implemented to the fullest. But currently, the MCs are the ones who even appoint people to serve on the landing beaches and the premix committees, where they have even made it a convention that when the premix fuel comes, the party folks have to be served first, even before our respected chief fishermen. Where the NDC treated the chief fishermen and those within the fishing sector with dignity and respect, the NPP works on them as if they are rags. They don't respect them. They don't have any say. Even when the chief fishermen call them that they should render an account on the premix fuel, the profit for the community, nothing of those sorts happens.
So now there is no accountability. They don't account to the fishers.
There is no accountability under the NPP within the premix fuel sector in the Volta region. No accountability. I can tell you from Anyangwi through Toko, through Strongbe Huti, all the way through Pesekope, all the way down to Adina to Aplau, down to Bato, down to Ketusaf, down to Germany, down to Pando Toko. I have been to all those places. I'm engaging the fisher folks, and I'm telling them what the NDC has for them. They are not respecting them, and there's no accountability. It is from those profits of the Premix fuel that the community have to sit down and think about what developmental project that will inure to the fishing community, but nothing of those sorts is taking place. Under the NDC, that used to be the case where we engage the community and the community decides on what development those profits should be used for, but now nothing. We also have a situation whereby even in 6 months, Premix fuel hasn't come to the people to even use. Is it not the truth?
Okay, and so we'll come back to you. So then, how do you, survive? If for 6, so you buy super, you compete with the vehicles to get there. I'll come to you. Just hold on with your questions. Yes.
So this is a huge problem. Richard, I recounted a story earlier, and I will want to repeat it for the sake of emphasis. Jeffrey Oklu, the aide to the MC of Keta, Honorable Bamaga, will be prosecuted when the NDC comes to power.
What has he done? Why will you prosecute him?
It is extremely sad that this guy, who is an aide to the MC, have diverted a whole tanker full of Premix fuel that is meant for the fishing committee and for the people of Nukbasekope. This person needs to be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is committed to that. That is why we put it in our manifesto and that recover all loots. All the loots of those engaged in the Premix fuel will be prosecuted. Richard, people who are buffalo sellers, Botokwidrala, buffalo sellers, they are having access to Premix fuel, whilst fishermen don't have.
Wow.
Those who are tomato sellers.
So when these people have access to the Premix, what do they do with it? Obviously,
now,
they are not.
When they have access to the Premix fuel, they hoard it and resell it to them. Now, here are some little statistics. A gallon of Premix fuel, the yellow gallon, which goes for 180 Ghana cedis. When they hoard it, then they sell it to the people at 360 Ghana cedis. Making double the price. And a drum that is supposed to go for 1,260, they actually sell it for 2,170 and more. Whilst some even sell it at 3,000. Some sell it at 3,500. So they are milking the fisher folks to the detriment of the entire community, the entire people that consume or live on fish. Because when the processors goes to buy it from the fishermen, definitely because of the high cost of the Premix fuel, that is also affecting the processor. And it implies that they will also have to throw the cost back to the consumers. So these people are rather nation wreckers. They think that it is their time, so they need to amass wealth, and they are not thinking about the larger interests of the people. But we, as a political party, we are saying that, as we used to do, that no executive of the NDC will find his way into the Premix fuel space when we come to power. That is what we have been doing, and that is what we will do.
Let me ask you this question. So currently I've seen there is the trial of solar-powered outboard motor that is being intended to deal with the Premix fuel wahala because the Premix fuel would not be used. You've seen it?
Richard, when I give the opportunity to one of the fishermen to talk about this, you will laugh.
No, I'll give the opportunity
to them. Even in Apam, they were experimenting on this. The thing all spoiled, it got seized, it didn't even work. So I think, is it not true? So
were you at Apam?
You see, Richard, the fishing industry, the fishing space within the region, there are seasons. You find people moving all the way from Keta, from way even to Azim to go and fish. So you see our people even in Azim. You see our people even moving as far as Côte d'Ivoire. So when it comes to information and the transfer of information, it's very, very accurate among them. So whatever they are saying is the truth. And you see, how can an outboard motor with a solar panel work effectively when there's a change in the weather? That is also a question. But then you ask yourself, why will a government that has built a Premix fuel pump, they currently build a tank, and when you are even coming from the way area, I saw one at Mepe, I saw one at Adidome, and I saw one on my way as I'm coming here. Investing such a huge amount of money, then again, saying that they are going to go to solar, then why are they investing so much into that? That is not feasible, it's not workable. I think that it is just a businessman who has introduced an idea and they want to push it on the fisher folk. It is not workable.
Okay, thank you very much. On the Premix fuel, how do we deal with it? Let me have the microphones. Okay, so someone has a microphone already. Your name?
My name is Raymond Aivo. I would like to make a bit correction about the 7 Seas project at Agoko. They are not in the sun winning process. They have something like sea defense somehow to protect their machines because they pump water, seawater, to do their business. So they are not into that business. And we say so much about the sea and all that thing. Based on the close season, I have a beach, and though we are going back and putting back a little, but I have some few challenges. The design that you put behind you here, I think you are trying to project how the bottom of the sea look like. And there are fishing business that goes on that destroy the mountains and the forests and the ocean. As we are talking about close season, how we should increase the fish industry, what are we doing about all those things now? I have learned that in China, they are trying to make these artificial mountains and artificial forests in the ocean. In Ghana, what are we doing about it? Now, if you are talking about a close season, and the women are complaining bitterly about whatever, we push down to sharing of what's supposed to give in to the fishing folks. I would like to suggest, will it not be nice, because they are collecting data, and our current vice president, Ghana card is more than everything. What can use those means to see the number of people that in one boat, and maybe the company, the number of people that form the company and the household, and before the close down, if there can be a means of training, and the fishing company can have something like a fish breeding or whatever to do a fish pond and raise fishes, so that when you come to close down, those things can help to support the fishermen and their family. That's my suggestion. So if it is like that, and we neglect the natural way of fishes having their own flow, and we talk about the time that we make the close season, is that the time for the fishes to have enough egg to reproduce? Naturally, we can all testify that at times naturally the sea can take us off 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can't go near to the sea. But I think they have to go back to the drawing board and see what is the time that you can have, the fishes can have enough egg. If they have that time, when they make the close season of that time, then it means that we are heading towards something. But at times when they do the close season, you catch fishes. The fishes are no growing lane, there's no fat and everything. That means that season, I may suggest that we cannot expect what we want to see. You cannot see it. So they can go back to the drawing board and see how best they can do all those things so that it can be useful to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so, yes. You have the mic now? Okay. Yeah, so talk, yes.
My name is Amos Aguado from Agitative Women near the estuary of our River Vota. I would like to go to local. Nyebia alo niemaje magblonya ba aba miafa anufola agloba na lankura jiruri kali mufia ngoa otu pumping station sorry hana Premix jazra letapo nava anyangu miagbo alafima Ye a huo pa hlama lamie anyangi chitati fuvama pa landi bichia. Ye labe blandre pla noviana. Jiruru riba wo kada reka orang konaba automation card. Kal gomama kada reka oma asheke iko khamia shi lafima. Vo amia o kovinami ele goma. Nye po mia hamia ko itojio. Ama yo ka wo yia amasheke ma amaro ha wo moten we kpora ka ha ho. Baje ma bia ba nya ba oba NDC yava ajijinare automation card nyamare aji ga welo aro amia ani noga na me yi hoye me hiana ko mia ba ajilo aro lake wo ga na mi ha amanyi bia bia ma.
All right. Akpe kaka. So do the interpretation.
All right. So his question was about the NPP government constructing pumping stations across the country in fishing communities. He mentioned that in Anyami, one has been constructed there, and then they registered some 70 fisher folks in that community. However, they have 70 fisher folks in the community, but only 9 were able to be captured on the boats. Okay, so they have 70 boats in the area, in the Anyami area, but then, however, only 9 were able to be captured in the system. And however, when the Premix fuel comes, this 9, am I right? Out of the 9, none of them has been able to have access to the Premix fuel when the fuel comes.
Okay.
Only.
All right.
No. Only okay. 7.
Yes.
Okay, so what basically what he's saying is that they have 70 boats captured in the system, but then out of this 70, only 9.
Okay, so only 9.
No.
Okay. All right. You continue.
Let me round up. So he mentioned that they have 70 boats in the area. However, out of the 70, only 9 were given membership cards. And then when the Premix fuel comes,
the automation, yes, the card, yes.
So the card that will enable you to have access to the Premix fuel. Only 9 out of the 70 boats were provided this card. But then when the Premix fuel comes, not all 9 people or all 9 boats were able to have access to the Premix fuel. And so he is asking the NDC how the NDC will be able to mitigate this problem and ensure that every boat in the area has access to the Premix fuel when it comes to the Anyami area.
Akwesia, Fred. Yes.
No fishing.
Wait.
No fishing. Close season. Miek blomba anyo. Nyanya konyama. Na mi o close season. Alaka ha. Na asadada hikali. Ojaba owo. Na malata poko close season manyo la bonyo. Alaba fu todola na nyengwa matong. Ngwa matoma na nyale ka chapushina. Na nyale ka onya chifufu. Na nyale ka onya ronku. Na nya aleka enlazone. Putado wala ma mo de suko. Kaka ma wucho jojo ma ngmano yo so na reji. Fifi le fia closes in owo. Nya ba closes no where ola wunya gbagba ma ba am million a ton. 3 million. Onya rokora o. Closes ma mara de siamna mara calamito mara gbatachon. Mama kata dowu na o ima yo pak no atrona. If you are closes na manya gachela chapu amo. Na la nava torama. Nanya ba ofuto nyatlo achishishie kona lave kojona akweve gba achoko wo nga katonko agajo. Ta nyama kpoba nanya ba mieva lemia pa jiruduma nyadang mara adesara trolla somchi mkate adesara trolla so lemia ba closes ma Allah yoko odra kapopoema nipae vachiu o kore toma nipae ro cham lolo to cham ka konre toma ikaba enlamo je ba achisia na ko be go o unlamo vori to verse yo kata o klove minister so ho ne na pa bu mo ve du koma o kloro fu keke va yire mi pa akpoji mi ta director gbagbo ba ncho ma rodo o abolo roma kata klo mo pa ma re ko ta mi on pa jiji nye bana mi va mi roshi verse o pa du koma va va ji ya roshi ji mako unwa Premix mi va fiare mi nya ba indi si miatema kpomi achito alaba miapo solo gang global no fishing no life ta betore hiara enok baranka lamuchi ale mi ogana mia ya gbe na mi lo akpe.
Yeah, so he is asking the NDC to, or when the NDC comes to power, to put a stop or cancel the cloth season because he thinks it has not been effective. He is saying that, or he's asking the NDC to put in laws that would ensure that petrolers or trawlers do not go against the law, so that when the season comes, the fisher folk who use the canoes and then the boats would also be able to get some fish when they go to sea. He also mentioned that there are some qualities of a fisherman which ensures that when you go to sea, you are able to get enough catch. And that when the close season is implemented or being implemented, it does not mean that the fishers will be stationed at one point in time. And then when the season ends or the close season is lifted, then when they go to sea, they will be able to have enough harvest. So he thinks the problem is with the trawlers. He also alerts that some ministers own these trawlers who go to the high seas to fish the stock, and then they are not able to get enough stock. And then he also rounded up by saying that there should be, or the NDC, when they come into power, how will they ensure that there is equity in the distribution of premix fuel? So the poor fisher folks will be able to have access to the fuel and then go to sea, fish, and then feed their families.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me come to you, then I'll come to you.
Okay. Nkwanyenye novishi husunukpe. Madakuku majeba maglobe. Lemyaba afunu afia gojia anya funu sesiare. Alebe miame no poji ma miagleba mass presensa mizani panto le puchanu. Dobe miaba fua anya fuike tona angana. Na matiza susu a counter of waba of Yagona, Totonia and Elegona, Gafina Yoa, na Yinako, a Quajabwe, and Watchron Amokuga. Ayatamajiba Maglober, Abomotoika, Ojiba, Conamina, what was the solar, Majaba Hamela, Matima Vaganamio, of Puchinto, Kahaboyala, Atavanao, Akpanyagato, Vavalia Yambe, na a co Premix Banya, Yemi no. Aro NDC tema Premix no gagoma le gbegbe na wonto ne ina tojia na ba jere ka pe ayi tojie na ba je gala on ka pe ko akwa tojie agbo na ma po na ko na rejiri fe ka ka fifi la fia mi le fifi la fia le MPP party ya ta flati ka flan nenya ba amiava le ka afu fia wo wonto le fucha Ye amiava ovana robon koma o manya na ba amiava to agolo afi ojani ta flatie dodo mama do ta flatie ba NDC ya I respect afu do wala okata nka tema gbunya maro miafofo JJ Rollins ye ova ye do afu fia ogoma anyi JJ Rollins ye do afu fia ogoma anyi ta JJ Rollins onya nucho chafu ya nwuro ba akplepo yo nya manwie ta yi kunya meka robubu na afufia okata aroro kwaro kata le afugo ngata nya amanya cho nya nya gbogbo roba aru respect na amo le gbegbe eba ina ba afufia over alaika na nya ba anwu jole toji okonya na police o police okay awanani aruna mi rockblola aro fisherman no mi desuko o plan mi ko yo gboko o je meji ko ba vie le be se ko ne a don yin se pe keke ba awoni amanyo eta o ro pofia o dai ba na nyajo o pofia o na gere nyama aglonya aglofutanya ta futanya police o gblo kana ehi agere ma police o tangbuli aka o pofia o hwe ta aminya ya ala le gbegbebe ro yin se na ba amia epufiawo na adu etore amia ji tana mi va epufiawo va yona dravo ko mi via na pufiawo no yo pufiawo a epufiawo va yona egeji na amia agbona ba amia ede onari odia epufiawo na order ono na fuma na cho na ba je 1 gallon akwa etoji enwoke na ga je 1 gallon akwa etoji na jiro na fine okay aka bi fiawo ngala na ma o fiawo ngala na ma kuran kaka amiava exam ko ko mi adoga amia kala avo afufia o manya ha o nya ta pomo gban abla mo no ka te la ndo yan homro na nya bana we jamia 500 aro 600 700 na ko etoji ye na etoji ma be ko na ko we say mi selection ato arana ahem na tu ajo na be ta frate ka flan amu we ho na vodu kro ha ava ko na to shi me pe so ba na yo itoji ya yore na ajo na be anu maro tawo wa subo le toji ba ya na yi godogodo a amia ye je 1000 2000 ko etoji ya kuna na godogodo ko gba fo mi ta ni o ba o mba to sisi do ka ta ba gbon no re na kpun re ka fi aba 1000 2000 3000 10000 nyo nwu o manya wa problem na o ga kare ah la ko gina la na ma yi o a be flore le ki no ka fi na ya se mo na akwa na ta nyo nwu force no ba 2000 20000 a nyo nwu problem ta aminya ya yi ko mi awu mu le pota bubu maru na na fu fia le pota awu be pota ka ta va gbon eto si nyo ka ta gbon akpe.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So do the translation, a summary of what he said, and then let me get 2 questions here, and then let me come for the responses. We are left with 15 minutes for us to end this dialogue, and so we need to do things quite snappy. You are still watching the JoyNews Regional Political Parties Dialogue on Fisheries, where we've met as political parties, as fishers, as fish processors, and we are thinking about the fisheries industry. So, Fred.
So, he started by saying that in their area they experience high tides here, and that if you are not skilled, you will not be able to navigate yourself around in the areas here, and then also you may encounter marine accidents. He continued to say that in the past, or under the NDC government, you are able, or they are able to buy premix fuel in smaller quantities. A fisherman can go to the premix station and then buy a gallon of premix fuel, go to tea, and then come back, get some catch, and then sell. However, as it is now, they are not able to do that. They are not able to buy the premix fuel in smaller quantities because sometimes the fuel comes at night, and then people go in to buy, hoard them, and then sell to them at higher prices. Due to this, when they also are able to get some share of the premix fuel, go to sea and then come back, they would want to make enough income because they would have to go back and then buy another premix fuel. So they increase the prices of fishes or the catch. And then the fishmongers and then fish processors are also not able to buy. If you are able to buy, then you also have to increase the price on the market. So this is somehow bringing some hardship in the area. He added that the NDC respects the fisher folks, unlike the NPP that does not do the things that the NDC did in the past. He mentioned that of the former President Jerry John Rawlings, who ensures that there is welfare, or the fisher folks who ensures the welfare of fishermen. During that time, they allowed a chief fisherman to take charge of premix for the distribution and then the selling of premix for. So when that is done, everybody in their community is able to get a bit or a share of the fuel and then go to sea and then get something for their family. So he's also asking that the NDC, if the NDC comes to power, if they can be able to do something about this premix fuel distribution so that everybody in the community will have access to the premix fuel.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So let me get 2 questions, 1, 2, and then we'll come back for the responses, and then we can continue with the last batch of questions. So give it to him, and then the last one there. Please make your questions quite snappy. 30 seconds, you ask the question, and then we can go to him for the answers. Let me also indicate that we invited the political parties, but unfortunately the MPP did not join us in this dialogue. It's the NDC that we have here. So let me put that on record. Okay.
I would say under this current government, MPP, we the fisher folks, we are not enjoying our fishing activities because there's no availability of Premix fuel. And then when we go to the formation of the Premix committees, and then they use their political powers to intimidate our fisher folks, for them to drive them away from the Premix fuel landing beaches. They put their men over there for them to loot whatever they're supposed to get from the Premix fuel. This is causing us for not enjoying our fishing activities. And then diversion of the Premix fuel. They divert the Premix fuel to neighbor countries like Togo. So their coordinators, they claim some people as their coordinators of Premix fuel. They extort money from the Premix committees. So after selling the Premix fuel, they demand a huge sum of money from them. So when they refuse to give them those monies, so that means that landing beach will not receive Premix fuel again. So it's a headache for we the fisher folks.
All right.
Again, there's no support from this current government be given to the fisher folks in terms of finance. So we the fisher folks or the fishermen, we go and lend loan or take loan from the private or individuals to invest into our business. So again, they use their authority or their power stealing Premix fuel from us or smuggling the Premix fuel, selling the Premix fuel to us on a higher rate is causing us a lot. So I'm going to put this question to NDC rep. When they come to power, by God's willing, after December 7, when we voted them to power, what are they going to do to stop the diversion of the Premix fuel, formation of the committees, for us to enjoy our fishing activities?
All right, thank you. Thank you. Give the phone, the microphone to him.
Excuse me.
Thank
there
you.
is a serious thing that
Okay,
I would
hold
like
on,
to
and
pass
then-
on. This government laid embargo on the new net amending. They said that nobody should introduce new net again. And they have banned bringing canoe from the bush to the shore, so that the period of 3 years or 5 years, nobody should own new net. And I would like to ask my brother if, by the grace of God, they were able to win power, what are they going to do about that? Because I'm the only one in the country south that transport canoe from bush to the shore. This thing cost me a lot. I invest so many money into the business, and all of a sudden, they said that we should not bring canoe to the shore again for the space of 3 years. Though they have lifted the ban, all right, 5 years. Though they have lifted the ban, but it has affected me seriously. So if by the grace of God they were able to win the power and come, and 2025, what are their plans for we people who curve the canoe and people who have intention to own it, even the new one, of course?
All right, thank you very much. So make it snappy.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to talk about the Premix fuel automation. That's my question. Currently, the current government is piloting this automation. In my community, Vojan, we have benefited from this automation. My neighboring community, that's Ajido, has the structure but not the container. Kaji has the automation. Now, with the automation, per what my brother said from Hooverman, they also have the automation. So you are to emboss your canoe before you can get the card. So with that card, you are expected to get a fuel every week. That we need to train people from the landing beach that will mount this particular automation machine. So with that, currently in Qatar, we have only 2 automation stations. What will the NDC do to expand this structure? Because one,
This automation machine cease hoarding, stop hoarding, and is being managed by fishers with the card. So what will NDC do in this regard? That's one. Then two, with the formation of the Premix Fuel Committee per the LI 2233, currently those within the committee, the formation of the committee, are being dealt with political apparatus, except that of the chief fisherman. What will the new government, or when NDC come to power, what will it do differently? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much. So let me get to you, take the responses, and then we have 2 more questions, and then we'll be done. We have less than 7 minutes to do this.
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions. With what my senior or elder brother had said regarding the automation, that there are 70 boat owners or fishermen at Fuveme, and an automated machine has been put in place for the people to have access to the Premix fuel. And like what he had said, 9 people have their vehicles or boats embossed, which implies that they are supposed to have regular supply of the Premix fuel. But according to him, out of that 9, not all of them have access to the Premix fuel. It implies that this automation system also has its own problem. I don't know, that could be the reason why Baumia is running away from the automation to the solar. But we will come, assess the current system that they are putting in place, because it is the money from the taxpayers that has gone into establishing those. So that if there are bottlenecks, we erase or take away those bottlenecks, because our ultimate core and values are to make sure that the people are protected and they live in a conducive atmosphere in order for their businesses to thrive. We are committed to whatever we will do to make the Premix fuel available to the chief fishermen. We as NDC are committed to do it. We have made it before, we have done it before, and we are committed to making sure that it is available to them. They have testified that under the NDC, the Premix fuel was available to the extent that even there was no hoarding. They can buy it in tots, with the belief that when they go to sea and come back, it will still be available for them to buy. So yes, so long as we have that testimony, belief, and a confidence in the NDC, I'm saying that when we come, we will make sure that the Premix fuel is available to you. And you will never get it or lack Premix fuel, even for 1 month, even for 1 week. The current situation you're experiencing is 6 months lack of Premix fuel, 9 months lack of Premix fuel, and even some places a year. But I can guarantee you that under the NDC, there'll be nothing of those sorts regarding the Premix fuel. And like I said earlier, those who have engaged in perpetuating illegality in diverting the Premix fuel, like the Geoffrey Ocluse, we will prosecute them.
Thank you very much. So let me ask you these questions about child labor, child trafficking along our coast. It's become something very pertinent where, I mean, people are engaged in that. What measures, what will the NDC administration do to curb that?
Yes, child labor, child trafficking regarding the fishery industry. I take a breather because of a personal reflection and a personal experience that I had witnessed in Oti region. Because of the Volta Lake, a lot of children are engaged in child labor or in the fishing industry. And child trafficking is very, very common over there, where a mother can sell the son for as low as 10 Ghana cedis.
10 Ghana cedis.
10 Ghana cedis.
What do you think is the reason behind it? Why will anybody do that? Poverty?
It is poverty. It is lack of empowerment. When people are diverting fuel, and the cost of fishing is becoming expensive, to the extent that the fish processor will have to buy it at exorbitant price. Then the consumers will have to buy it at astronomical prices. The people are pushed to the wall. So anything that they can do to survive, that is what they engage in. So we have people engage in child labor or children engage in fishing. It is as a means of a question of livelihood. Livelihood, livelihood, livelihood. It is just like farming. If I want to cultivate a huge acre of land, in the olden days, the number of children you are able to give birth to determine the acreage of lands that you'll be able to cultivate. So that applies in this area too. See, when you go to sea, the fish sometimes, the net sometimes get broken. You have to get people to mend the net. You have to get people to even scoop the water from the canoe. You have a whole lot of activities that needs to be done within the fishing space. Even when the processor buys the fish from the fishermen, there are people that need to dry the fish. There are people that need to carry the shoal from the seaside inland. A whole lot of activities that they themselves cannot engage themselves directly in. They have to employ the services of people. So yes, that is the reality. If I say that it doesn't happen, I'm lying to my people. Malama, I'll be lying to my people. So definitely that is the reality that we are faced with. I read the Shraj report on my way, 2012 research work that Shraj has done, that yes, they have agreed that child trafficking and child labor in the fishery industry is extremely eminent. And they were citing a school at Dambai Roman Catholic School, where they know that yes, that is the reality of the people, but then they encourage the students to go to school. And when it is the market day for the fishing, then they break the students for them to go to school, for them to go and fish and then come back. So yes,
so in 30 seconds, yeah.
That is what happens within the fishing communities. So here, that is the reality. But we as a political party are suggesting that even though that happens, it is also illegal. But that is the reality that the people are confronted with. We are saying that we are going to create a special school, a special education for this group of people so that at least they can migrate and redirect their energies to other space in order to have a formal knowledge within the fishery industry so that they can contribute effectively in the fishery industry. So that is what we in our manifesto are going to do, a special education unit and a skills training for these people. So the reality is that that is what the people are confronted with. But with this special education and with the skills training, definitely we are going to redirect the energies of the youth to another area that can uplift their community and that can also engender positively towards their livelihood. So I would say that yes, people will speak against this child labor or child trafficking. That is the reality. It is illegal. It mustn't be encouraged. But that is the reality of my people. So we have to make sure that what we bring them, hold their hands, and then redirect their energies towards other ventures or means of livelihood. And for that to be done, it has to be done holistically, and that has to be done in a sustainable manner. We are not going to implement or come out with a policy that will be a knee-jerk reaction. No. We will make sure we engage the people. We will make sure that what we all come together to the drawing board and make sure that what we are doing is sustainable to the people.
Thank you very much, all of you. In fact, this is all that time will allow us. We've exhausted. We are coming to you live from the Keta Nursing and Midwifery College here in the Volta region, and we are thanking each and every one of you for engaging or helping us engage in this dialogue. In fact, I must also emphasize that we invited the NPP as a political party to take part in this dialogue, but unfortunately, they didn't represent. And so we only had the NDC together with our fish processors and our fishers who have made this conversation and this discussion very lively. We came to you from Keta in the Volta region. My name is Richard Kwejo Nyako. We'll be back